Hi everybody and welcome to another weekly update video from myself, Sarah Lane. So this week, in terms of Azure news, we've had the announcement that there is now a free tier within Azure Cosmos DB, which is really exciting as it gives us the flexibility to run dev or test or even small production workloads on a free tier and make use of that service without having to pay anything. And I know personally I've got a couple of projects that run on Cosmos DB, so I'm going to be looking at maybe transferring them onto the free tier if appropriate. We've also had the Azure Site Recovery team release a update roll-up, number 45 for Azure Site Recovery and certain versions of that. It's just a regular fix which adds some improvements and adds some fixes around certain products. So I'll put some links into the description below to let you read about that. But certainly if you're running Azure Site Recovery within your environment, it's probably worth having a look at what the update roll-up does and thinking about putting it into your environment and adding that in. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about this week is my DIY project that I was working on. So I think I mentioned it in my last video that I had a project that I was going to be working on at the weekend, and I'm pleased to say that it's been a bit of a success. Behind me you'll see this kind of butterfly canvas thing. This is actually a DIY acoustic panel. So in my home office it was fairly stark, there wasn't much on the walls, and I was noticing when I was doing audio or video recordings that the sound just wasn't quite right. There was a lot of echo and it just wasn't quite up to the standard that I really wanted those audio or video recordings to be at. So after much soul searching and looking at, the standard acoustic foam that you can buy off of any kind of retailer and stuff, and you often see in the music studios, I decided that I wanted to go down a bit of the DIY route, and lots of people on YouTube had been doing these DIY panels with just some wood from their local hardware store, some products that usually go inside your cavity walls for sound insulation, and some fabric from IKEA. And I went ahead and did it. So I've got a 3-part blog post on actually what I did, but basically what this behind me is a wooden frame filled with something called Rockwell, and I think it has different brands in the UK, but in my blog post I talk a bit more about it. And it's basically sound insulation material that usually goes into the cavity wall in your house, but in this case I've put it inside this frame and then stretched some fabric around the frame to hold that cavity, that sound installation in place, and then put it up onto the wall. Now I built 3 of those, so I have one here and I have, which is to the side of where I actually sit in my office, so it's at the side of my desk, and then I have one in front and one behind my desk as well. So I did some audio recordings before I put the panels in place, and I put some recordings after the panels in place, and the sound quality is actually really different. Again, on my blog post I've got examples of those audio things, but it was really worthwhile. I think it was more expensive in terms of buying the materials, and I had to buy some tools as well in order to do the project, but I could have went down the cheaper route and just bought those acoustic foam panels that you see, but I wanted something a bit more decorative, and hopefully this panel kind of achieves that. It's a bit more light, it's a bit more airy, it looks a bit like a canvas you would just buy to hang on your wall for decorative purposes, but mine kind of doubles up as decorative purposes and actual practical. So I'm really pleased about it, and really glad that it's went well and actually I've achieved what I was setting out to do. So like I say, I've got a blog post that talks much more about it, lists all the materials that I used. So please do check it out. If you've got any DIY stuff you've done at home to improve like audio or video quality, please do reach out and let me know, or any questions you have on the project that I underwent. I hope you're all staying safe, and I will catch you next week.